there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka that Tellest guy, and we are back today looking at one of the day one maps for our Kickstarter backers. This is the Statue Garden, which is supposed to be like a place where like a Medusa is holding up and making sure that she can wipe out anybody who comes here. We did a lot of work with this already, so you can see there's statues everywhere of the folks who dared to come into the statue garden. We're going to add our points of interest now because these are some pretty basic things, but I feel like they don't necessarily tell the story beyond just people who showed up in this place and ended up getting turned to stone. So I did put a little bit of thought into what our points of interest are going to be. I think we're probably not going to spend too much time here on this map, which means that we might be able to take a look at one or two of the other ones that we've been working on as well, but it might just be a short stream today. So first thing that we're going to do, we're going to get a mirror. There's only this little hand mirror that they have. They've got the big mirror, but we're not trying to do something that looks like that. It's not going to look right. So we're going to throw that up on one of these rock formations, and I want to make sure that it doesn't look like it's hanging out too far up there, so we're going to mess with the intensity of this. Let's drop it to, it never plays nice, 0.3, so about half the intensity. And then what we need is someone who could have brought this up here. So I was thinking, based on the time that we spent yesterday with the corpse on the Dragonhenge map. We're not going to use this guy again because he's been done to death. But we will use this corpse here. So we'll throw this up here, and if you don't have the statue pack or anything like that, like we have, you can do something like this. So we're going to just desaturate the poor fellow, and he's been turned to stone. Let's grab, if we have it. I'm actually surprised. I don't think that we've done it yet. We need to get some little stones. Let's see. That's piles of rubble. Is it part of the core set? Is it? Small rocks? Yes, we just need to make them way smaller. And we'll mess with the saturation of that as well, so it's got like a more grayish kind of look to it. Maybe one or two more. Looks like he took a tumble and then hurt himself pretty bad. And then let's go over here, and we're not going to do this on all the corners, just how my mind is going to this. Let's go back to corpses, and I've got an idea to use a shield, and I feel like this and the blue guy who we already used yesterday, they're as close as it comes to like warrior types, and I want to give this guy a shield because you figure like in the stories you either use the mirror to see the Medusa in the reflection, or you use the shield to, or use the mirror to blind her and turn her to stone. And we also know stories about warriors using the shields to hide behind and stuff like that. So let's move him down a layer so that the tree covers him a little bit. Same thing here. We're going to change the saturation and the brightness, and let's come back up here and shield. And we're going to use this guy. When this guy looks a little bit more like... when it looks a little bit more gray, you're not going to be able to see like the super tribal influences or anything like that, but we'll make it look like he tried to hold on to it or tried to bring it up and he failed. So let's go, we'll grab that. Same thing, we'll drop it down to like 80 or so. And we might even darken it a little bit more so it kind of blends in with the same color scheme as him. So then we got that. Looks pretty cool. Oh, you know what? We need the rocks though. Let's do 15. And the other thing that I saw was in D&D, the Medusae, they have the ability to turn people to stone, but then they also can change them out of stone. So what we're going to do is, they can do the same thing with animals. We are going to put a horse in here, and it's going to be like her. This place is going to be like her larder almost. So let's see what we got. Same saturation, same brightness. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to make this look, so I might abandon the idea, but let's try and see if we can mess with. It might not look as accurate as I want it to. If we take this and sort of back our foreground there. And let's do a little bit of color in here on the foreground. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this look right, but and go back to our little rocks. It kind of looks like chunks of the poor horse's body here. So let's go here. We're going to darken them up a little bit. Scooch them down a little bit. And there you go. She's got a midnight snack if she needs it. And then the last thing that we're going to do before we cut over to our sponsor spot, we're going to go to a couple more of our statues. And we're specifically going to do this because, oh, you know what? We're going to do, try and do the marble ones. I guess they'd have to look 100. So these are our angel statues. Kind of got it in my mind that we'll have these in a few places. Up here. Maybe we can mess with the contrast a little bit. So the idea is I want people to maybe have a second guess about what might be the culprit that's turning things to stone. Maybe they see the angel statues and they freak out a little bit and think maybe it's not a Medusa. And then we'll definitely do a version of this that does not have all these statues. We'll have a nice pristine garden. Or we might just make actual statues instead of people that were turned to stone. Alrighty, let's do, we're going to do a button. I don't know if it's going to work. I don't think it's going to work. So let me get it prepped for the other stuff. Well, it did the first part, which was it brought everything up, did the music. It did not turn back on the Yeti once I was done, but I've been paying attention. I know that people can hear me. Isn't that right, Rihanna? Yep. All right, so we are going to, I guess while that's saving, let's take a look at our sponsors too. And now, a word from our sponsors. Brought to Life by Science Magic is a great way to describe author R.J. Gould's prose debut, Cyberknight and the Hand Puppet Commandos. Reminiscent of classic Toys to Life stories like The Indian in the Cupboard and Small Soldiers, this sci-fi adventure is great for teens and preteens, as well as those who still hold a place for childlike whimsy in their heart. It's also lightly academic, with information about the world and what may lie beyond our stars. Gould is hard at work on not just 2 follow-up novels, but a graphic novel and a movie script that will hopefully bring this brand to life even bigger than ever. If you've been looking for a sci-fi that will bring some joy to your reading nook, don't wait. Check out our promo for Cyberknight and the Hand Puppet Commandos origin story on the Tellest website. A spectacular whirlwind adventure that mystifies as much as it enthralls readers, Raymond Dwayne's Quinine is the sort of epic fantasy that most people would have a hard time dreaming of. Yet, the author has done much with this universe, establishing foundational pieces of rich lore, religious history and prophecy, and wrapping it all together in a package that makes it feel like some of the best pulp fantasy of yesteryear. Indeed, there is a way that Quinine is presented that makes it feel as though this hero has been around for decades. Despite the classic feel, though, it is also wild in its imagination, with blended species bringing a sense of alien majesty to the world, which just so happens to be the massive hand of the goddess. If you'd like to learn more, head over to the Tellest website, where you'll be able to find our promotion for Quinine by Raymond Dwayne. All right, so we should be good to go. Hopefully the audio is still coming through. We are on to our next map, which is going to be the Tower Sphere practice pitch. And this is a map that we put together that is inspired by a sport in the world of Tellest that's kind of like a mix of like football or rugby and a little bit of like croquet, amongst some other things. So the idea is you take the sphere part of Tower Sphere and you take it through the towers part of Tower Sphere. So what we'll probably end up doing is there will be some variants that like show the flags in different colors, because each team has 3 towers to start and they're trying to change the color of the flag on the other team to their color. But anyway, so you can see the basic shape of the pitch is kind of what we've done so far. And we had these paths that were in place that I hid off stream. So we had that, and what I ended up doing was just going over those lines with with a brush tool. And now that we have that there, what we're going to do is just maybe cinch it up in a few more places. I don't want it to be too uniform, which is why I didn't do this with the stylus pen or anything like that. I just did it with the mouse because I wanted it to be a little bit uneven. And now that I don't have the dotted lines to kind of show me where everything is, we're going to go in there and kind of make even more of a mess out of it. So the one thing that I did notice, though, is up here we kind of have a blurry mess. So I'm going to fix that real quick, because that was the wrong size of things. So I'll do something like that. And I know that I had another problem on the bottom that I fixed already, but now that I've seen it twice, I want to make sure that it's not ongoing. And I think we should be okay. So let's come up here. And again, we're going to go into here. I don't want it to be 100% opacity. Let's go back to 25. And we'll bring this. Oh, there we go. feel like that wasn't there 2 seconds ago. I'm going crazy. Okay, and let me take another look just in case I am going crazy. Alright, at least for now, everything's looking good. Let's go back to here one more time. Back to 25. And let's go to a 5 brush size. And one more time, let's go through here. I'm going to kind of use that as our guide. We don't have the dots anymore, but it's still pretty clear where everything was supposed to go. I imagine someone out here like during like a muddy day or something like that, just kicking his feet. And you can see like I'm not really trying too hard to keep it in the line. If it's uneven, it kind of looks more authentic, I feel like, in this case. Oh, there's another mess that I have to clean up right up there. I feel like it's still going a little bit. I think right about there is where it stops. Let's come back in here and we'll go over to this spot. Too long. There you go. Much better there. Once again, down to 25 and 5. And I still have to figure out what the points of interest are going to be on this map, because every one of them is going to have the towers. I think technically each one of them has the sphere. So I'm going to have to figure out, like, when it comes to the printed versions of the maps where like it cuts off a little bit, where to put those things. Oh, a little bit too far. Okay. And I'm going to purposely be zoomed out. I actually kind of like what we have there, so I might do, wherever we have like the thick tufts of grass, I might go over it one more time or 2 more times to put some of that back in wherever that area is. So we got this one, and then let's do something like that, and maybe like a touch there, a little bit in there, a little bit in there, just a touch here and there, 2 more clicks, that's okay. There. One more pass. Little taps here and there. There we go. A little bit there and there, and in here. I feel like that's a little bit too messy there. And maybe a little bit in there too. And definitely here, because this is where I originally thought of it. Alright, and then 148 is a decent amount of changes, so let's hit save. It's going to take a little bit longer because it is one of our 4 times maps. thinking about like points of interest and everything, and I'm thinking maybe we have like a gambler up in the top. And he's taking bets on the teams, even though it's a practice pitch. Ooh, my darn knee is acting up. Whew, that's taking a lot of saving time. I should have gone and shown what we had with Quantum Quest. That was a goof on my part. Alright, let's go. My thought process is, let's get a chair. Let's get one of these messy shamrock chairs. Let's throw the grid back on. We do 30 because we're looking at it at 4K. So we're just going to change that. We're going to make sure that it's showing up under the tree, because then it gives a little bit of depth in here. Let's do like a pouch, a couple of pouches actually. Gotta go way tinier for that pouch though. Smaller still even. Okay. A couple of pouches of gold, and then let's go into our set. And which of these people? Let's use this guy. Too big. That might even be too big. I think part of the problem is the chair is too big as well. Right, at this point, he is. Shrink him down a little bit more. There we go. He's sitting there with a bunch of gold. We've got some plant stuff up here. I'm definitely going to throw in more spectators, but we don't have to do that all on the stream. So each one of these is roughly about that big. So we've got, the challenge is that we really only have here and here to really do these points of interest. That doesn't leave you with a lot. I'll tell you what, I feel like we did enough. We're going to wrap things up. We'll make it a quick day. And let's go to our show closing screen. So folks, on the screen right now, you should see all the places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. Tellest.com is a great first place to start because it'll bring you to all of the other projects that we're working on. We have a couple of premium sites that you can go to as well. Patreon.com/Tellest is where you can get digital versions of all our maps. It's the cheapest way that you can do it. You pay one monthly fee and you have access to over 100, close to 200 maps at this point, plus all the variants. And we just recently announced some licensing options. So if you wanted to use some of our maps to make commercial adventures, you could do that. And we also have some other assets. You could see, like, we were using the statues in the statue garden map, and we were using the spectator in this map, for instance. We also have physical versions of our maps that will be coming back soon, but you can check them out on tellest.etsy.com. Once our partner is able to get us a bunch of those again, we will start producing them as quick as we can. And then we have an a la carte digital set of our maps on battlemapfantasy.com, which will take you to our drive-through RPG partner page. We also have some TikTok channels that you can check out. TikTok that you can check out. TikTok.com/@weirdwitchwands and TikTok.com/@tales of Tellest. One of them is about wands, the other one's about dogs. I'll let you decide which one is which. And then we have 2 video channels that you can check out. YouTube.com/@worldoftellest is where you can find all the videos that we've done in the past. But if you do want to see the new videos live and converse with us and use channel points and stuff like that, you're going to want to go to twitch.tv/thattellestguy. Like I said, it's going to be a quick one today, so we're going to wrap things up. But until next time, we'll miss you.